Hi everyone, welcome back to Crafting at Whimsy Wonderland. My name is Stacy. I'm in the process of starting an Easter egg topiary tree, and it's kind of a Dollar Tree DIY. You could totally do it with the Dollar Tree items, but I got a lot of this stuff at the thrift store. So let me just kind of run you through what I got here. I've got this purple pot, and it cost me I think 75 cents, and I have 2 of them. And I cut a styrofoam ball that I had left over. It was an ornament, and I just cut it in half using a X-Acto knife and then a bigger kitchen knife. And I'm making 2 of these topiaries, and I stuck one half of each of the ball into the pot, and it was just the right size to go around. Then I got some of the wooden craft dowels from the Crafters Square at Dollar Tree. These are the ones that are 12 inches long, and I poked it into this is a very hard styrofoam ball. I got this at a thrift store. There was like 8 of them, and I think I paid $2. So yeah, I just poked the stick into the styrofoam ball and into the foam that I've put into these pots to hold them up. Okay, I will be gluing the pot to the saucer. I probably won't do that on camera. I'll just be using E6000 and hot glue as a mix to do that. And I just didn't think you needed to watch me put a stick into a ball. I figured you could do that. So I've got several packages of these foam eggs from the Dollar Tree. They're like little ornaments to hang on an Easter tree. And I'm just pulling out an egg, and I'm just pulling that ribbon hanger right out of the end of the egg, and using my X-Acto knife, I just poke it right in there where the hole is from the ribbon and saw back and forth, and I'm cutting these foam eggs in half. Now I wanted speckled eggs that were solid color and then just speckled. I didn't want glitter, but I found some at Dollar General. They were a little bigger though than I wanted to use on these trees. And I could only find 1 package, and 1 package wasn't going to do the trick. So I just went ahead and bought these glittered ones, and I'm going to, after I get them glued onto the ball, then I'm going to paint them solid color and speckle all of them all at once. And then that way I'll be able to decide what colors need to go where. So I'm just cutting these eggs in half, not worrying about sanding off the glitter or anything. A little bit of texture will be fine. And then I'm going to take my hot glue and glue it in. Okay, so my hot glue gun's just now getting hot, so I can put a little bit of glue into the styrofoam ball and put my, oh, it's melting my styrofoam ball. Okay, well, I'm going to set my topiary in there. Interesting. Okay, that is not what I expected to have happen. So anyway, so that gets a little more sturdy. And then I'm going to finish cutting these in half, and then we'll glue them on together. We're going to give this a try from a different camera angle. I am going to be gluing these eggs onto this styrofoam ball. And I don't know how this is going to work. I don't know if the glue is going to melt the egg or the styrofoam ball or the egg or whatever. So I'm experimenting with you watching. So I'm just going to, I think, start by making a solid line around the ball. Right now I have, I just cut apart 1 package of eggs because I didn't know how many it was going to take to cover. I do want to leave a little bit of space in between the eggs because I want to put moss in between. You're buying these eggs, or you're looking at eggs you already have, it's going to take probably at least 2 packages per topiary. Depends on how big you want to make your topiary too. I'm going to lay this down to do this other part because maybe it'll stick better. And another thing I was thinking about that I remembered I did at Christmas time when my styrofoam ball started melting on me making ornaments, I coated the cut edges with Mod Podge before I glued them together. Here's what I've got so far, and I'm going to paint those into solid colors and get rid of that glitter and speckle them. Now I have 6, so it took a package and a half of eggs to cover that one ball, and that's probably, I would say, a 4-inch ball. Not sure on that, but that would be my guess. I am going to do this second tree or topiary the same way I did this first one. I don't think you need to watch it a second time. I'm just trying to get this guy to stand still. So I will be back when I'm ready to show you the next step. Okay, so I'm back. I have glued the saucer part to the pot, and on this one, on this second topiary, on the first one I just cut the eggs and glued them on, and I was having problems with the styrofoam melting. So this time, after I cut the eggs, it was about time to go to bed, so I just decided to try brushing the back of the eggs with Mod Podge, and I also sealed the ball with Mod Podge, but then I dropped it and a little piece of it broke, so I have that glued back in. But I'm going to start at the bottom and put a little bit of glue on the back of my egg, sorry, and I'm going to just glue it down, and I'm going to just glue them all the way around the bottom. I don't want the two trees to look identical, so this one I'm going to go around in circles rather than up and over. For this one I went in a straight row up and over the middle. I'm not going to do that on this one. I'm going to try something a little different, and so I'm going to try something a little different, and I'm just kind of putting them around the stick at the bottom, kind of like a flower. Remember, you want to leave a little bit of space in between because we're going to put moss in there. And I'm not completely saturating glue on the egg. I'm just putting a glob kind of in the middle and letting it disperse itself as I push it down. Okay, so right now I've got 4 eggs on the bottom with a little bit of space in between for moss. And I put the skinny part pointing to the stick. Okay. And remember, the color I use doesn't matter because they're all going to get painted white, and then I'm going to just kind of seal them, and then I'm going to paint them in individual colors. So, and I must say that this is being much easier to glue. It's not melting the styrofoam because it has that little protection of the Mod Podge. I'm able to push them down, and it's not melting, and I'm not smelling melting plastic, basically. Got the bottom part done. Now I can just start working from the top and have it stand up so it quits rolling around. I wanted these to look kind of random, and I keep finding myself putting them in a pattern, and that's not what I want. I want them to look like a bunch of eggs just kind of happened. I'm not putting these as close as I did these because I think I want a little more moss on this one. The Fitting in the last 2 eggs is always the trickiest because you don't want to leave too big of a spot, but you don't want to ram them together either. I have 3 pieces of egg cut that I didn't use, so that's an egg and a half. So to make these 2 topiaries, I used 3 packages of eggs, and there's 12 in a pack from the Dollar Tree. Okay, so I used 36, 35, 34 and a half. I used 34 and a half eggs to make these 2 topiaries. So I'm going to let the glue on the eggs and the styrofoam and all that got hot while that kind of started to melt a little bit. I'm going to let it all harden up, and then I'm going to paint this with chalk paint, all white to start with, and then I'm going to paint individual colors on so that I have the colors that I want in my decor. So I'm going to give this about 15-20 minutes just to make sure all the glue is hard, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm going to paint this out all white at first just to give it a base coat, and then I will go back after it's dry and paint in the colors that I want. I'm going to be using for this step Waverly chalk paint in white. Normally I just dip into the bottle, but since I'm painting over glitter, I don't want glitter in my paint. Plus this paint is getting very low in the bottle, so it's harder to dip. So I'm just putting some in a palette, and I've got 2 size brushes. I don't know which one's going to work best for this, but I always just kind of soften my bristles by bending them back and forth on my table, and then into the paint I go. I'm going to start at the bottom, and I'm just trying to get a base coat on here to seal in all the glitter. And also I want to paint onto the styrofoam ball so that when I go to glue the moss in, it won't be such a trouble with the hot glue trying to melt the styrofoam out from under the eggs. So if you like the glitter eggs, you don't have to do this step. Just go with the moss next. But I want this to be more farmhouse style, and glittery eggs just don't say farmhouse to me. I'm ready to paint the eggs, and I want to do it in all different colors. So most of the white has dried. There's a few little puddly areas, but I'm not going to worry about that too much. I have all of these little pots of paint that I've been mixing up doing my Easter crafts. So I'm going to start with using those, and then I have, these are all Waverly, the mixed paint is all Waverly white chalk paint with just different colors of acrylic paint mixed in to get the colors I needed for other projects. And then I also have some blue, which is the Waverly chalk paint in the color Pool. And I also have some Waverly chalk paint in the color Agave. Okay, so I'm going to just get started here by laying my tree down. And I think I'm going to start with the greenish blue. This is the color that I mixed to paint my springtime truck. And I'm just going to paint one egg down here, and I'm just going to kind of scatter some eggs getting painted this color. I'm not worrying about getting all the way down to the very bottom edge of it because I'm going to be putting moss in between the eggs, and so this will help keep me from getting this color on the other eggs. About 36 eggs per topiary, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 colors. So I'm actually going to do I probably won't use the agave because it's really close to this color I'm painting right now. So I'm going to do 6 of each color. So there's 3. So you don't need to watch me paint over and over and over. I'll be back when this is done. So I'm going to attempt to speckle paint my eggs. A little nervous. What I'm using is a stiff stencil brush, dipping it into my chalk paint. And I have masked everything around me that I don't want speckled. And I'm going to take a popsicle stick. Let's lift you guys up a little bit. Up above my eggs. Cross my fingers and pray. I'm going to drag that stick up through my brush, and it's going to hopefully speckle where I want it and not all over the place. It is getting kind of messy. I have a feeling I'm going to be finding black paint all over my craft room. I have put down some paper that I've masked my work surface with. I pressed kind of hard into the stiff brush. Last time I tried to speckle, I went away from my body and I got it all over my face. So there is a learning curve. And I would recommend that you practice before you try to do your project. Let's see if I can do better on this one. I don't know. We shall see. I'm going to quit before it's too messy and I don't like it. So here's what my second one looks like. And then I just need to let this paint dry and we can put the moss on and we will be done. All the paint is dry, so now I'm going to start filling in between the eggs with this green moss, and I'm going to take just little pieces at a time, and I'm going to start down here on the bottom and pump in some glue, and then pack the moss in between, in between the eggs. Putting in a little bit of glue and packing the moss in around the eggs. I'm going to continue around the ball on both topiaries until I fill in all the way around the eggs. Alright, so I've got the moss all packed in around all the little eggs of my topiaries, and I went ahead and packed grass down into the bottom of the pot as well. I'm contemplating whether I want to take this and kind of dry brush it with some white chalk paint. I'm deciding on that. But the next thing I want to do is I need something to decorate the bottom with. A couple of these paint your own ceramic painting set thing from the Dollar Tree with the little bunnies in it. And I think a little bunny sitting there would be really cute. So I'm going to pull the hanger out. I also have a few little carrots, but I think they might be too big. I could just use them the way they are, but I want them to be a little bit brighter white. One bunny white and one bunny brown. Just making sure to kind of like press some chalk paint down into those holes where the hanger was, and that will help it disappear a little bit. Okay, there's my white bunny. And I'm going to go ahead and do the other one in brown. Okay, so I painted the second bunny in Waverly's Antique Wax. Gonna make it kind of look like a chocolate bunny. So I'm just gonna let these dry now, and then we can decorate the topiaries with them. All right, now that the bunnies are dry, I need to put an eye, do a little, so it needs an eye. And I'm just using my alcohol marker for that. There's my little brown guy. It's kind of hard to see his eye on there. And then these need to get attached into the topiaries. These eggs, or these carrots are too big. If I had a hole and I could just do like half of the carrot, I'm afraid if I cut the carrot that it's going to unravel. Oh, there we go. Unravel and make a mess. So I'm thinking just a couple of little carrots glued in down here would look really cute. Oh, gotta get my glue gun going. Okay, so I've broken my Dollar Tree carrots in half, and I'm going to glue down the ends of the twine so that it doesn't come completely unraveled on me. Now, I've got my half carrot here, and I'm just going to put a good glob of glue on there and glue down my carrot. And then I'm going to put some glue on my bunny and glue him right. The other thing I wanted to do was to put a little bow maybe around the bottom of the topiary. Okay, so I just tied a little bow with that burlap bunny ribbon. I'm going to do another one to this one. I'm going to put a little glue on the ribbon so that it stays put on the stick. And then adjust the loops till they're the length that you want them. And then angle the ribbon end, and voila. Alright, there you have it, my Easter topiary project. If you like it, please give it a thumbs up. If you don't, give it a thumbs down. Let me know what you think of it in the comment section below, and let me know if you might be doing one of these for yourself. If you couldn't find these little ceramic bunnies, sometimes they're a little bit hard to find, you could also use one of the little styrofoam pick bunnies that they have and just paint that whatever color you want it. Lots of different options with the little pieces that they have at the Dollar Tree. Some of the little fairy garden pieces would be pretty down in the bottom of the pot too. For now, I've decided to leave the pots purple. I might want to dry brush them with some white chalk paint later, but for right now I'm liking the purple, so I'm going to go ahead and leave that on. I wish they weren't as shiny as they are, but it is what it is. Alright, this has been Crafting at Whimsy Wonderland. Keep yourself safe out there, guys, and have some fun crafting. Thanks for stopping by. I'll see you next time.